Welcome to the Positively Encouraging People podcast. I'm your host, Jen Anderson. Each week, we will have a conversation about ways you can love yourself more, set better boundaries, and build up your self-confidence. We will talk about tools you can use, simple tips and stories to encourage and lift you up. You will learn from my experiences and struggles and those of my guest speakers. After spending years feeling undervalued in my relationships, jobs, and almost every area of life, I learned how a story from my childhood was keeping me stuck in that feeling because I believed it was all I deserved. By proving that story wrong and learning to set healthy boundaries, I discovered my worth and started loving myself completely. Creating a life that is both fulfilling and in my true alignment is important to me, and if you feel the same way, you are in the right place. So sit back and relax. Your stress-free weekly pep talk with Jen is about to begin. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so excited that you are joining me today for your pep talk. I just want to give you a little rundown about how this will work. Every month, what we'll do is we will have a theme for the month. And so the theme for May is building confidence. And so every podcast for the month of May will build on that. It will be on confidence and how you can build your confidence. I do have a beautiful guest speaker lined up for later in the month, and she will talk about confidence around food and dieting and eating and why it's all okay for you. So that's one of the things you can look forward to later in the month. So I'm super excited about that one too. I love that. And so just to get started, I'm curious where you are for confidence. What is your confidence level on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being freaking awesome and 1 being in the gutter? Where would you put yourself? I just would be curious. You can drop that in the comments under the show, or you can always send me a message at thankfulheartscoaching@gmail.com, or find me on social media at Thankful Hearts Coaching. I'm on both Facebook and Instagram that way, and maybe a few others. Who knows what all's out there that I've started, but anything like that, you can always shoot me. I'd love to hear, and I'd love to have a conversation with you about it. That's what this is all about, is us having a conversation. I want to encourage and support you, and I just love getting to meet new people who are ready to work on themselves, ready to grow, ready to be inspired, ready to inspire others. Because if I inspire you, then you inspire others, and I absolutely love that. So also, speaking of the show notes, there is a little freebie down there for you in celebration of this being my very first podcast episode. So there's a little PDF that you can download that will give you 10 easy steps to build more confidence for a quick win. So beginning with confidence, I want to start out by asking you to think of 5 words you would use to describe yourself to someone who doesn't know you. These words can be anything that would be descriptive for you. So let me give you an example of what my 5 words are and how I came up with them. So my 5 words are creative, energetic, compassionate, problem solver, and loyal. Now, those weren't always my 5 words. In the past, I probably would have told you they were something along the lines of not book smart, but street smart. Probably still would have used creative, because I've always felt a little creative. I probably still would have used energetic. Until the last 10 or 15 years, I really only truly learned what compassionate was. So I probably just would have said emotional, because I always felt like I was very emotional. And I probably would have said that I was plain. I've always thought of myself as being plain or mediocre, at least until the near recent future, like in the last 10 years. That has really all changed. So, what are the 5 words that you would use to describe yourself? And they don't all have to be as upbeat and positive as mine are at the moment. We want to work to get you to that point. So, I totally get why they might be a little different. If you don't know what your 5 words are, I have a really great, easy exercise, and that is just to ask people. Ask people what they think of when they think of you, what comes to mind. And especially ask people you trust. You can do this. I had a client who did this as a Facebook post. So she obviously trusted all of the people in her Facebook feed. And she asked them what they thought of her or what her strengths were. That's a good way to put it too. They can all be kind of the same. I mean, several of my words are also strengths of mine. So you could phrase it that way. What are your strengths? Where do you really excel and shine? Those would be good words. And so she asked her Facebook audience what some words came to mind for her for strengths. And she got so much positive and valuable feedback back from these people that she actually took every Sunday in her yearly planner, and every Sunday she wrote down a different word and the person that gave that comment to her. She just took all of her comments and compiled a list and then put them in her planner. This did a couple of things for her. This gave her a word every week to kind of look at and focus her week on and to think about and be around that word. And it also gave her a reason to smile for the week because she knew that she had this positive quality that she wasn't thinking about. So it was a nice reminder. But the other thing it really did was it told her who said that to about her. And it reminded her how much she felt about that person, what that person felt about her. And it also gave her somebody to be grateful for during the week. And so that turned into just an amazing little exercise for her that gave her this quick burst of energy and confidence and gratitude. And by starting your week out that way, that's incredible. So I really absolutely just love that exercise and in doing it that way. The reason I'm asking you to think of your 5 words is because it's a great tool for you to keep with you and to keep in mind. You can write them down and have them hanging somewhere. You can make yourself a cute little sign to go with it. I mean, there's lots of ways you can do that, and you can totally be creative. And if you aren't terribly creative or don't feel creative, again, feel free to DM me on social media at Thankful Hearts Coaching, and I'll help you with ideas. That's part of what I love. I love to be creative. I have my own little crafting business as well. And so I do a little bit of all of that, but I can definitely give you ideas and help you with that. But keeping those words with you helps you when you don't have the confidence and the belief in yourself that you need. Having those words to look at when you're not sure what you're doing and where you're going with things just gives you that boost and that encouragement and that belief in yourself when sometimes you just can't find it. You're digging deep and you can't find it. I'm going to share a little story with you. When I had this issue, and even though I was kind of digging into one of my words, I couldn't find that belief right away. And so one of the things I had to do was just know that it was okay to feel that way and it was okay to give myself space. So a few weeks ago, I had just a really rough day where I was asked to do something and it really didn't settle with me. It didn't sit well with me. I didn't feel like it was the right thing for me to be doing, but I felt obligated to do it. And I struggled, and it started to really cause me some real anxiety and anguish and even anger. I was angry that somebody was asking me to do this, and I didn't really know why. And I don't know that I ever came up with a real reason as to why it made me so angry, but it brought up feelings in me that I had well got over. It brought up some jealousy, some envy, some resentment, ugliness that I don't see anymore when I look at social media. And this was all around social media. And so I really, really struggled with it. And I tout myself as being a really good problem solver, being able to think outside the box. And so I spent way more time on this issue than I probably wanted to or probably should have. But I kept trying to find a way to do the exercise that was being asked of me. It was by another coach, and she was asking me to do this as kind of an action step, which I ask my clients to do their action steps. And so I just kept trying to figure out ways to do it, and I couldn't get there. I just couldn't. It just made me angrier and angrier, and I couldn't problem solve it. So what I ended up doing, I spent way too long on it. And so I wound up just stepping away, getting out of my office, telling myself that I can either come back to it later, or if I choose not to do it, it is still my choice. I can have the confidence to tell someone, I'm not doing this action step. It's not correct for me, and I'll do something different. And so I allowed myself to I gave myself a solid 2 hours to just walk away. I didn't do anything else in my business for those 2 hours. I let myself just decompress, be somewhere else, think about other things. And when I did come back into my office, I did realize that it was absolutely not the right action step for me. I was not giving it any more space or energy. I had given it way too much time as it was. And I did step into my confidence, and I did tell that coach that that was not the action step I was going to do. I was going to do things differently, and that I just didn't feel comfortable with that. And I just want you to know that that's okay. That's okay for you to do. I want you to be able to get into that place and use the tools that you're going to learn throughout this podcast series and throughout life. I mean, I'm sure you have lots of tools that you don't even think about pulling out and using. And so some of this is just about remembering what you've learned over the course of your life and what you can use to re-implement things, to bring back that confidence. When we were kids, we were confident. We were always happy. We didn't care. Something put that self-doubt in there. And I know for me, and I'll probably tell you this story over the course of the next few weeks, but I know for me, I learned the childhood story that kept me from feeling confident, that kept me feeling like I was not book smart, that kept me feeling like I couldn't do new things. I couldn't do hard things, that I always had to take the easy way. And that is how I always felt. And there's nothing wrong with the easy way, except that you don't really grow when it's always easy. So now I venture out, I do the hard things. And if you don't think this podcast isn't hard, let me tell you, it's a good thing there's no camera here. But it's going to get easier, and it's going to get better, and I'm going to continue to improve, and I'm going to continue to grow, and then I'm going to do more hard things, and I'm going to grow. And I hope that you are right here with me as we do that. So let me know what you think of this. And I'm so excited that you joined me for the first ever Positively Encouraging People podcast, Pep Talks with Jen. And I can't wait to watch you grow on your journey and support you along the way.